Hi everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to apply customization throughout your entire ePortfolio. So we're going to start on whatever page that you want to, but just be aware of where your instructions are, which are in this particular template, the red area versus the white area, which is the actual part of the ePortfolio. So just be aware that this area here in the red is not going to actually show up in your final ePortfolio. Alright, so let's scroll down to the white area because this is the area where we're going to work. So to start off with, we're going to start by changing the background, and then we'll change the text boxes and we'll apply those to your entire ePortfolio. So what we're going to do is go up to the top where you can see the gear button, and you're just going to click it, and on the left side the flyout menu is going to show up, and you can start customizing whatever part of your background you want to. The top layer has the different areas between the dotted lines, and right now it's set to a white color, but you can go ahead and change it. So right now I'm changing it to a gray color, and you can change the opacity as well if you choose to. Also choose to add an image on there, but I'm going to go ahead and leave mine alone because I'm going to actually put my image in the bottom layer background, which is what you'll see underneath here. Right now it's set to a white color, but I can click on this box here and change the color. So I'll go and just pick a color, and you can go back and get rid of it, or you can change the color to something else. So if I choose the X, it'll just get rid of the color. I'm going to leave it as that for now and just go ahead and put in my image instead. So I'll just click on select image, then upload file, and then go ahead and just click in the center, and you can select the image that you want to add, or you can cancel this and you can actually just drag in an image like so, and then click on upload to have that pop into your background. And as you're doing that, just make sure that you use your own photos, or if you choose to use someone else's photos, make sure you provide proper attribution. Alright, so now that this is in here, I can go ahead and change some of the settings of this. On the left side, you can see it's got fixed, repeat, and you can kind of just mess around with this and do it however you want until you find the look that you want. For me, I'm just going to leave these alone, and then what we're going to do is scroll up, and we're going to go ahead and apply this to the rest of our ePortfolio. So you're gonna click on this paint bucket, and there's going to be two options. I'm going to click on the existing apply to existing sections, and this is going to allow me to apply that to all of the different pages of my ePortfolio if I choose to. The top is going to allow me to just apply it to new sections, so we'll do that later. So let's go ahead and click on apply to existing sections, and on here you're going to see a bunch of check boxes, and you can go ahead and select the ones that you want applied to whatever pages that you want. And you can also go in and choose to like not apply it to certain pages if you want. So for example, if I don't want it on this goals and outcomes page, I can uncheck it, and I'll do that just for the sake of this tutorial, but you guys can choose to have a different thing on a different page, or you can choose to have it all apply. And once you're happy with that, you can go ahead and just click on apply style. Alright, so now that we've done that, we can go ahead and scroll up and check some of the different pages. So we can start with learning outside of class and just make sure that that applied correctly, and it looks like it did. And now we know that that works, but we should check the goals and outcomes, which we decided not to put on, and it should be white. So this looks correct. Alright, so if you ever want to go back and change that, just go back to the page where you had it correctly, go back to the gear button and the paint bucket, and then apply to existing sections, and just make sure it's checked next time. So right now it looks like it's checked, and I can apply style, and then if I go visit that page, it should apply the style now. So you can always come back and forth and choose to change things if you want. Alright, so now I can start working on changing or customizing some of the text boxes that we have. And on here you can see that I have two different text boxes I can choose to work with. I'll just go ahead and use this one that's up here. So we're going to start by clicking on the wheel button, and then we'll see some different font options that we can choose from. So if I choose to click on where it says empty, it will bring down a menu that I can kind of flip through and figure out which font I want, and I can just click on whatever I want, and I can always change this if I want to, and kind of just go back and click and figure out what I want to use. I can also choose to remove the font and just use the default if I want to by clicking this X here. And if I want, I can change it at any time. So I'll just go ahead and pick a random one here. And once I'm happy with that, I can change the font size. So you can just use arrows, or you can type in a number if you want. And you'll notice the top didn't change, but that's because it's a heading, so it's just a little different. Then you can change the font color. So I'll just go ahead and change it so you can see what it looks like. So you can play around with that and change the colors. Just be careful not to change it to something that's hard to read. So I'll go ahead and just stick with this one here. You can change the alignment as well. I kind of like mine on the left, so I'll leave it. And then the padding, you can go ahead and change. It's the white space around your text. I like the way that it is right now, so I'll go ahead and just leave it, but I'll kind of just show you guys what that looks like if you change it. And then you can go ahead and add a background color to it if you choose to. Right now it's set to white at 1% opacity, but if you click on the white box, you can also change it, and I'll change it to something kind of extreme right now so you can see what it looks like when it's at full opacity. So I'll just choose this blue, and it's at 1% like I said, so if you turn it all the way up, you'll see a much darker box. So you can play around with that and do whatever you want. And then lastly, there is a background image option at the bottom. I don't really recommend using this because sometimes the backgrounds can get a little crazy, and then it makes it really hard for you to read the text. So just be really careful when you decide to choose a background image for your text box. Once you're happy with that, you're just going to scroll to the top and click on the paint bucket if you want to apply this to your ePortfolio. Alright, so we'll just do that by going to the paint bucket, and you'll just want to start by clicking on apply to existing modules, and then make your selection on things that you do want to apply and which page that you want to apply it to. So if I, for example, wanted to change the color to a different color, or I don't want that applied to that, I can uncheck it or check it. And then just select the page that you want it on. So I'll demonstrate again with the goals and outcomes page, and let's just not apply to that page so you can see what that looks like. Alright, and then once you make your selection, it should be grayed out, and you'll click on apply style. And we'll just go ahead and check that so you can see it's already changed it down there. We scroll to the top. We can also go to you'll see that the instructions have been changed as well. And just again, don't worry about that part because it's not going to apply to our final ePortfolio. We'll go check this page just to make sure it looks like it's applied. Sometimes the headings will get kind of small. If that's the case, you can go ahead and just double click in your box. And on the top, just click on heading, and if it's being squished, you can go ahead and click on auto resize, and it should fix that for you. So just make sure you go through and check some of those pages there where the fonts have been changed. Go to your goals and outcomes, and let's just make sure this hasn't been changed. And so that looks correct, and it still has the old font on it. And again, if you want to apply it, you can always come back and do the same steps by clicking in the gear button in our text box, and then paint, and then existing modules. And then just make sure that the page is selected this time and click on apply style, and we can go back and change it, and it should be applied this time. Yep, and accept the title there, so we can go ahead and just quickly change this by going to heading, and then that should be changed, but we want to make sure we also center. So go to the paint and click on the center alignment button, and that should be good. Alright, so that's pretty much it for customizing your fonts and applying that to each page. One last thing that I will show you is just about new modules that you add. So right now, if we chose to add a new text box, for example, it's going to, it hasn't been told to apply the new style to it. So when I click on this and click on rich text, it's going to give me that white box with the default font. So you can see here, it's not the right thing. So I'm going to just delete this and then show you how to change that so that you can apply the new style. So going back to our box, we're going to click on the gear once again, and on the left, just make sure you go to the paint and then apply to all new modules. Once you click on this, make sure you just make the selection that you want and then apply style when you're ready for that. And then finally, if you click that again and add a text box this time, it should, or a rich text, it should apply the new changes to it, like so. All right, and so that's pretty much it. Okay, and then if you just go to the top, you can go ahead and publish changes. And if it's your first time, just make sure you click on Save Settings and Publish, and that should be it for applying changes to your entire ePortfolio.